Good evening. So thanks very much for your time. Well, Kingsley Makhubela is crying foul, saying when you couldn't get your way with the trumped-up charges that were leveled against him last year, you then quickly slapped him with new charges.
Good evening, Vuyo, and thanks for having us. It's not true. We didn't slap him with new charges. When the CEO went for his sexual harassment disciplinary charge, the other charges were also on the table. The chairperson of the hearing at the time chose not to proceed with the others because obviously her timetable or whatever reasons that she couldn't. So those are just continuing. It was just a matter of scheduling, getting a new chairperson to proceed with the charges, the 3 additional, and that's where we are. So it's not as if found not guilty and then you find new charges. They were all on the table at the time.
When is the process starting on the new charges?
Oh, the process has started already. The process has started. I'm the chair. I've already given my evidence. There are other witnesses that are being presented to give evidence at that. But it started already. It started on the 4th of April.
Is the CEO prepared to form part of this process?
Kingsley, yeah, he has been at the disciplinary process. He has presented himself for the charges.
Could you, given what is at stake and the things that have been said publicly, do you not think that perhaps you should find someone outside of your immediate environment and perhaps not be part of it yourself?
To chair, it is an independent chair. So the first chair was independent, an advocate, a senior counsel, and this one is as well. So it's an internal hearing in that it's not at the CCMA or at a court, but it is facilitated and chaired by an independent person.
What are the issues? What is he being accused of?
So we won't disclose his charges in public because that's just a fairness issue. It's between the employer and the employee, and he in the past has chosen to go out with his charges, and that's his prerogative. But as an employer, we have to respect the process and not disclose his charges.
You don't think that for a public organization, if serious accusations such as alleged tender irregularities is something that the public deserves to know?
I can tell you that he's not accused of tender irregularities. That much I can tell you.
But you see, that's what is the problem.
Yeah.
Because if someone then whispers in someone's ear, those get to stick because you are not coming forward with the true information.
But,
but what though is wrong with putting it out there that this is what this person is being accused of? Obviously, the process is about actually finding out whether indeed the person committed the acts he's alleged to have committed.
The process is also about fairness. You know, in employee relations, there always has to be fairness. And that's why you put people in a process, you respect the process until such time that we are ready to give an outcome. And that has also been a board decision at Brand SA, that we will respect him even during the process. Everybody is entitled to a fair hearing. And I don't believe that it's a right to know unless the parties choose to disclose. And as I sit with you now, that's not where we are.
But if you are able to come out and say to the public, this person has been suspended, surely, well, I personally don't see why there would be a problem with saying this is what this person is being accused of. And then the usual courtesies and other things follow, where everyone underscores the fact that this person hasn't been found guilty, but there's a process underway and they have agreed to subject themselves to that process, but let's wait for the outcome. But it really raises a lot more questions than it, like when there is this veil of secrecy even on the issue of what this person is actually being accused of.
I don't see it that way. I really don't see it that way. This is not like criminal charges where once you appear in court, it becomes a public record. The only reason we are even having this conversation is that we had a holding statement that said initially that the CEO was on special leave and then he was suspended. And that's as far as we're willing to go. But he then decided to go public in terms of his charges, and that's why we respond. But had it been as equal as we wanted it to be, we would have conducted the disciplinary hearing. If he's found guilty of all the charges, then obviously we would have separated and made an announcement. But had he not been found guilty, we would then also have made the same announcement that says he is not guilty, he is back at work.
How long is the process going to go for?
We can't say, hey, we want to end it as soon as possible. We hope early in May. It really is dependent on scheduling, on his availability. Well, he's available because while you're in suspension, you are still an employee, but the chairperson's availability as well. As we've said, this is an independent person who probably has other cases that they are handling. But there are dates scheduled even early in May, and hopefully that should end mid-May or the end at the latest.
I know you have a person acting, but how is this affecting the work of the organization?
You know, in our view, not, because work continues. You know, we were... The staff was in overseas with the Minister of Trade and Industry in Germany on various excursions. There was the BRICS engagement that Brand SA was present at. There was the BRICS Bank that was in Cape Town, and work continues. You know, and I think that's something that we want to stress, that Brand SA is not about a person. It's not about a chairperson. It's not about a CEO. There's a whole body there of people that continue to do work every day to deliver on the mandate. Yes, ideally you want to have the captain there, and that's why we ensure that there is an acting CEO at any given time. And the Department of Post and Telecommunications via our minister, because the departments are together now and it's the same minister, has kindly seconded somebody to us to ensure that we stay on track and we continue doing the work that we're supposed to do.
That's where we're going to leave it for now. The Brand South Africa's board member, Kingsley Makhubela, on the suspension and of the organization's CEO.